All systems go. Clear for liftoff. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, a.k.a. ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition of the Friday NBA show. Got my guy Hamwich here with me. As always, going to break it down. 13 games. Some might say too many. That someone might be me, but I will take it. It's an NBA slate. Lots of money to be won. We'll have some fun with it. Started the show 15 seconds early to make up for like all those 2 seconds of being late each time. Just got like 7+ of those back. So we're solid there now. Ham, we got a big slate ahead of us, man. Lots to talk about. Hopefully some games that we can cross off. I think there's definitely some value spots you guys can throw in the chat. Any of the games you're most interested in, let us know. Do us a favor on the way in. Smash that like. Hit the subscribe button. Go through some of the promo stuff after. We're going to bring up our projections. As always, we're going to go into the solver, break it all down game by game for you guys, be able to see where we're at. You can ask your questions throughout. Keep it very interactive as always. But Ham, Friday, TGIF. What's going on, man? How you doing? I like your headset, by the way. A little orange cord special. Match it up with the t-shirt underneath.
That's my shirt. You got a red cord. I don't know why I got these headphones on, but we'll roll with it for the day. Got some value popping up. It is Friday. Hey, we were on time, so we weren't late today. It's always good to be early. Let's get it. Let's get going, baby. We got 13 games, so hopefully we'll be done by lock, and we'll get you the winners.
You know, I literally always try and start the show on time or early because that's another mantra that I don't talk about enough, but it was always growing up. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. So I know that everybody likes it to start on time. I try and do that as much as possible, but you look like welcome to Hamburger, home of the hamburger. Can I take your order? Look, this guy got the good burger set up on over there, ready to take orders. Let's see if we can get to it. Let's talk through this here, man. We got a big slate ahead of us. Before we get in, I want to remind everyone very quickly, this is ending soon. I think we're going to end it on Monday, just being fully transparent with you so you guys know that you can get a little bit of a heads up on it. But the last chance, get in for $20 off. You get it for $49 a month. It's like $1.50 a day. Going to go through some of that stuff here in a little bit. We'll get to it as always, but all you got to do is go to shipitnation.com, use the promo code TRY20, TRY20. It gets you it down to $49 for your first month. It includes the Discord, all the other sports. Big weekend ahead because we've got MMA, which has been absolutely crushing ever since we started with it with Title, Marley, and the rest of the crew there in Discord. Always a lot of fun there. We got a bunch of NFL going on to round out the regular season, and there's going to be playoffs and showdown slates and all of that. A lot of slates coming up, actually. I'm looking at my calendar here, but we got like the 3-gamer on the Saturday the 16th. We got the 2-gamer on Saturday the 23rd, Christmas Day stuff. I mean, this is a really good month to get in, that even if you're just sitting there and you want to get away from your family for a little bit during those holiday season, pour a drink, go put some lineups in, get in on the action. Definitely the time to do it is now. Ham, what's your first thoughts on this slate, man? I know it's a big one, but do you already see some games that we can cross off, or you got some ideas around where you're going to be going with this slate?
Yeah, just looking at it before the show, I think there are a few games, and we got the number 1 and number 2 defense in Boston, New York. So, that game will be quicker than normal. Just looking at our projections over here, which have been just absolutely on fire. I think it's pretty clear cut, who the value is going to be. We'll talk about the value. Still waiting on a few pieces of information. We know, Trae Young's going to be out. We know who's another big name. Oh, KD is going to be out tonight. So we got to, the Suns are tough, right? Because they play so many guys. And honestly, Tambo, none of those guys are very good. So, Devin Booker's going to have a big night, in my opinion. Grayson Allen is out as well. So even more shots for Devin Booker, and trying to find that guy that's going to, find the value there. So we'll see how it goes.
And shout out to the chat, all of our friends here, Smarty, Zim, our guy Hebrew, Parabay's in here, OMG Lao's got the membership the other day. He's in here. Michael, no way that game could go over yesterday. There was no way they could find points in that game, but sure enough, they did. So didn't quite get there on all the bets, but had some decent ones in, had some fun with it. And then lineups-wise, I know a lot of people were up there. One of our guys shipped, a member that's also a member over at Degenerate75, degen75.com. Awesome partnership we've got there with James and his crew. So a lot of good member wins. But yesterday, going to the NBA streets for a second, I got to bring this up. The legend, Rob Mazika. He's in our, you can go see him in our testimonials. When you go to the main page and click testimonials, This is from way back in the baseball season. We might have to update this, Rob, because Rob was here talking about how good things were going in baseball. Now you got to check it out here. And what's funny is he posted this last night. So he won second place, like the other 2 games Slate on Monday, I think it was. He won second for $20K. The next day he got up there, got like 14th place, made another run at it. And then last night he came second again. The joke being that as long as you have 150 lineups, you're good. But I do know he changed his logo recently to the SHIPIT logo. And if you want to do that too, you can go to shipitnation.com/logos, save, upload, #SHIPIT. Easy to do. There's 4 great logos there. But another second place for Rob. I think since he changed the logo, he was already winning a bunch of money. I think now he's up almost 50K since the logo swap. So shout out to Rob. And then the other guy here, Jim Parrish, too. He's in our Discord as well, using the projections. He was up there. He showed his stuff. He said he's a 49ers faithful, so he can't change the logo till after the season ends for football. And he's got a good team over there with those 49ers and Purdy and CMC and Ayuk, Debo, and the rest of the squad, Kittle as well. But he came third and fourth with the same lineup, so he ended up picking up a huge day as well. So shout out to Nerdy Tenor, Daniel, he's the man. But right behind him, our guys, Rob, Jim, congrats to you guys. Really awesome day over there for you. I'm going to pull up the solver here and share that one. We can get right into these games and get started. Ham, anything else you got to add while we're waiting here, man?
Yeah, nothing else to add other than you're a big 49ers fan too, right? Purdy and Debo fan. You're a huge fan of them. So
actually, that's funny. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he won me all. They won me all the money last week, so I am certainly a fan of Debo and Purdy. But it's actually funny you say that because my brother is a huge 49ers fan. I'm obviously a huge Ravens fan. It dates way back, even before the Harbaugh Bowl and all that stuff. It's always been this way. So we're kind of cheering that this year we could get both of those teams in there as well and see what happens with that. And yeah, if somebody wants to try out those projections, we can't say enough about them. Obviously, they're different than the rest of the industry. Like that's why you're seeing our guys up there at different times than when you see the other sites. Obviously, we have competitors out there that have great projection as well. It may cost a little bit more, but we're willing to compete with them. And on any given night, if it's not theirs, it can be ours. We've seen it already. It's working out quite well. So if you want to try that out, that's just one of the reasons to get over there. And then Kevin says Tambo is a Skins fan. That worked out for me the first time. It didn't work out at King of the Beach. So we'll talk more NFL later on. Let's get started on this. I will say this, Ham, just looking at it, this is just the value for this game here. Let's go all Toronto and Charlotte. I think we're kind of just plucking little pieces from some of these games until we get to certain spots. And again, you guys can throw in the chat if you have something different or you want to talk about stuff. But I do think, like someone said, Ohtani watch. We're talking about the Raptors right now. They're thinking about the Blue Jays and Shohei. We'll see. Not get my hopes up yet. It sounds like it's like gonna happen, but I don't want to get my hopes up too high just in case. I haven't seen anything fully official yet on it. But where are you at with this first game, Ham? We got Toronto, Charlotte. I see a couple pieces maybe, but what do you want to talk about in this one? Obviously, still no LaMelo. Looks like Mark Williams will be good to go tonight. He was out the other night, but I think he was at shoot around. Can't say for sure yet, but as of right now, that's how it seems. What's your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, not much to talk about in this game. I mean, a few pieces. Just the one thing I want to talk about: if Mark Williams does sit, Nick Richards, who everybody was on the other night, he was at I think 3,700. He's all the way up to 4,900. So even if Mark Williams sits, I don't think I'll get to Nick Richards at 4,900. I think there's other spots at the center position, but talking Toronto would kind of be where I have the majority. Of who I like. I mean, obviously you can play Siakam. He's really popping over here right now, 8,100. Jakob Poeltl, center position, 5,900. I really like that. The Charlotte is very bad at protecting the rim. So give me some Poeltl at the center position, 5,900. It's a good price. Ball is still out. We saw Rozier shoot it 24 times the other night, made 10 of those. So I guess, on the Hornets side, you could play Rozier at 8,400. He's going to, play 35, 40 minutes. He's going to shoot it a bunch, but I'll be lower on Rozier. Raptors are decent against the point guard position, so lower than maybe most, but Siakam and Poeltl kind of be the only two where I think I'm going to have a lot of exposure.
We're arm in arm on this one, and some talk in the chat. Like here, I definitely agree. GPP plays, but like I really don't love the Barnes play. I would probably get to Siakam if going there, and obviously different position eligibility, of course, makes for a different case and a storyline there. And sometimes it ends up that way. We'll see how the value goes. I know the other night people were asking about like Desmond Bane at small forward. How did you get to him? Like the squad was good. Like you didn't, whatever. But it was the other night we had a bunch of value at power forward and center and point guard. And so it was almost like just a position scarcity thing where when you land on Desmond Bane, it's nice when you land on it for no apparent reason besides that, and then fall in to the ceiling game that you get out of a guy like him. But it's not always going to work out that way. That's kind of how I could see something like this. But like you said, going here, I think is fine at 5,900 at the center position. There is other centers. We know Ham does not like OG, so we'll move off that. I'm kind of with you. Rozier, same thing. Not only the matchup and stuff, but even coming off, like, I know it was 10 for 24 shooting, and he's shooting like crazy right now, but 8,400, the price went up 2 again. So he's almost pushing to 85, 9K range. Just gets a bit much. We'll wait on the Mark Williams news. That would change. PJ Washington played okay the other night and still put up almost 30. He kind of hovers and stays around this price point. So again, I think Williams is going to play. We'll move on from there. I think there's more to talk about in this next one. We got good value popping off the page. We got Suggs out of this game. So I think Cole Anthony is going to be a conversation piece. But then I know our Discord was talking a lot about Point Powell here, where he's at what? Powell is 8,300 on this slate. So give me your thoughts on this next game, Orlando, Detroit. What do you got in this one?
Yeah, really love Cole Anthony tonight. He doesn't project really great in our projections, but I like him a ton. The Pistons, not only are they a terrible basketball team, but they're also very bad against the point guard position and guarding that. So I like Cole Anthony a ton. That he would be my favorite Magic. I mean, Banchero has just been on absolute fire. This kid, just looking at, recent game logs, 54, 47, 50, 57. I think he's okay. Bogdanovich for the Pistons, since he's come back, has been really, really good. His price
up to 6,500 now. This was crazy the other night, though. He was just going off. And really what was funny is it felt like he was doing everything and making everything. And I looked at this earlier. I'll show it to everybody here, but it was like he didn't even make all the shots. Like not that he would make them all in, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like he was just lights out like we saw some of these other guys the other night. It was just he was just kept going off. And he was, what was the other night though? 5,100 or 5,400?
Yeah, he was
55?
cheap. Yeah, he was
55, and it was Killian Hayes was 51. So yeah, 55 up to 65, just like that.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people won't play him with that price bump, but yeah, I don't know. And then I don't know if this matters or not, but I think Joe Harris is making his debut or coming back from an injury. At the Stone Men, I think 3,000. He wouldn't be the worst play if he projects for 20, 25 minutes. I need to do some more digging on that. I just saw that an X came out earlier today that he was playing tonight, so I'd love to see what he's doing. But yeah, give me some Cole Anthony, give me some Banchero, and then that would kind of be it. Bogdanovich 6,500 would be tough to get to.
Hamlet brought out the air traffic control set and then go collects and cleared for takeoff. Ham's the guy in the video. It's my voice, but it's Ham actually on there clearing us for takeoff over there. He's got ground control.
Oh man, that's SHIPIT Nation on SHIPIT Nation Crime. Rio over there blasting me about my air traffic control. Bring this baby in, baby. We're gonna land.
Even got the orange. He's got the orange pylons to move it around. Like, come this way, this way. Like, he's got it all over there. So, and of course, yeah, talking about Joe Harris, a little minus 13 value over here. We'll see. But I know, I'm just kidding. We'll see whatever happens. Like Ross said, though, yeah, who knew he was even still in the league? I think Ham was thinking the same coming in. You said at the top, I think you were just messing around, but like Cole projects really well.
Yeah, I was looking at I was on forwards and didn't have it on all. So yeah, he's
gonna have ownership, of course. But look, this is where it comes in. Is like, I know that you pay for it, and it's only like you're seeing when people are looking at just the projection, which I would start with. You say, okay, it's tough to get to Banchero here at like just a few more points projection. He's still a solid value, but again, point guard, shooting guard eligibility versus power forward tournaments and stuff. You can flip it like that. The point they were talking about point Banchero, like you could see it, but I think Cole Anthony's obviously looking pretty good as of right now. We'll see how things shake out from there. Didn't have a lot of interest myself in the Detroit side. Maybe someone in the chat or the Discord could talk me into it later, but we're going to move on for time's sake. And we got a lot to talk about in this one, I think. Obviously, we know Trae Young is out. And then we got Embiid at 11-7, popping off the page as far as values concerned. He's projected for 65 points here tonight over on DraftKings. So give me your thoughts on Embiid, talk through the situation with no Trae Young, and then what's your feeling on this game? I think some people are thinking like, oh, but Philly will just crush them in this spot. Look at the spread. It's not that crazy. It's the NBA. We see it all the time. Like you can definitely see this thing stay tight. So maybe you bring some other pieces along. If you're going to get to Embiid, try and bring something in there to bring it across so that you got something on that angle.
Yeah, I mean Embiid. I mean, what in the world is that guy doing? He's a cheat code right now. He's playing very well. I think he had what almost 80 DraftKings points the other night. I mean, you can see his value there. He's a great play. Capella, could contain him on the boards, but inside in the low post, he's just tough. He's going to get his. I think on the Hawk side, you're pulling him up. I mean, Murray theoretically is going to benefit from no Trey Young. We're looking at 20, 25 shots they're going to have to get distributed somewhere else. I think it's going to be Murray and Bogdanovich. When I get done talking, you obviously talk who kind of your build that we were talking about beforehand. But for me in this game, it's Embiid, it's Murray, it's Bogdanovich. I think Bogdanovich gets a little bit more, maybe 5 to 8 more shots than he normally does, maybe 5 to 10 more minutes than he normally does. But definitely like Bogdanovich, especially 6,400. I think that's a fair price for him. But yeah, that's about the extent of it for me.
Well, one thing I will say, like, there's no good nicknames for him. I was trying to think of one like DeJounte Flory, but man, like these guys are like, it's you just don't see the explosion. I know now we get Trey Young out, so that leads to it. He's obviously a good value. I can see fitting him into some lineups. I'm not going away from him. I'm just explaining like my thought process, and to me, it's like at 8,000 and what he's always done. I know that I understand that Trey's out. I'm just saying, like, I think Bogdanovich can be like the same guy. He's like the same floor, the same point per dollar, the same everything for cheaper. And if I'm doing it to fit in a guy like Embiid, or if I'm trying to get to a different build, I could see just doing that. And I think I've got other guard values that I can get to. And I like having this shooting guard and small forward eligibility on Bogdan here. So I guess I kind of like Embiid and Bogdan. And then I was talking to you about this pre-show. I don't know why anyone would like this. Like, I know it's scary and whatnot, but this is kind of the tournament play for me here would be Capella, because it's twofold of like this. He's the opposite side of Embiid. And when it's twofold, it's double leverage essentially. Here's why. I'm probably not playing him and Embiid together. So here's my breakdown on this one. Most people, if they're going to go to an Atlanta spot here, are deciding between Murray and Bogdan, or maybe Hunter, or both, or two of them, whatever it might be. Not as much going to Capella. Secondly, is he's the opposite side of Embiid, who, while he's not getting all the ownership, is obviously popping from projection point and value and things like that. So, I mean, I'm trying to look at it from two ways here. One way that Embiid could not have a great game is if Capella does on the opposite side, maybe gets Embiid into foul trouble. Who knows? Anything could happen. But also, I don't think as many people are looking for Capella. You can already see the ownership here on Murray, on Bogdan, on Bay, even like some of these other guys. So I think Capella, while he's getting some ownership, there's only so many center positions you can play. There's potential value later with Ayton being doubtful and with Jeremy Grant already out. So, I mean, the Portland situation, when we get to that, there's, we talked about Jakob Poeltl there in the first game. We talked about some of these other guys. There's just only so many of these centers that you can play. And again, you could just do this with everything, turn it all on, go to center, sort it by value here on our stuff. Capella's way down the board in comparison to the two big dogs. Wemby, at least you get him at power forward. Mobley was downgraded earlier, right? He was downgraded to questionable. So now Jared Allen comes into play. You have Orlando Robinson with no Bam. And I know we're going to get to all these spots. I'm just bringing up points now as we break through it. So I think that's at least somewhat interesting to me on Capella there. Anything else to add on that Atlanta-Philly game? If not, we can move on. Go ahead. Batum is getting brought up as well.
Batum, no Batum for me. I mean, we talked a little bit about him pre-show too. I mean, he's playing 30+ minutes. I mean, he's getting assists, rebounds, steals. He's just tough to me because everything just flows for Embiid. I don't think I'll be getting to Batum. Don't know about you, but just going back to the Hawks real quick. I mean, Bogdanovich is playing 25 to 27 minutes with Trey Young, shooting it, 12 to 18 times. I mean, look at those. All those games are with Trey Young. Now, if he gets inserted into the starting lineup, he's going to play 32, 35 minutes. There's going to be 25 shots to go around. I just think he's going to get more opportunities. I mean, all that is with Trey Young, and he's already shooting it that many times. He's going to shoot it that much more. And I'd be remiss. I'm gonna bring up one other guy, 3,200. My guy, Gary Bird, Garrison Matthews down there at 3,200. He's starting to play a little bit. So I know he's a long shot, right? But I'm going to mention Garrison Matthews, just personal connection there too, and he could get a few more minutes. Backing up with no Trey Young tonight.
Make it bigger so everyone can see. -12 value. Ham's favorite thing to do.
I will guarantee. What is it? Projection 6. He's at least going to get 15 tonight.
Find the worst value on the slate, and Ham will love him.
So my guy, perfect. Gary Bird, right there. Write it down. Gary Bird, 3,200.
Bring it back up in case you missed it. Our guy Hebrew was on your ass right away. So let's move on. Let's go to Washington, Brooklyn. One thing I will say, just backing it up, the other thing was with Bogdan shooting those threes. Man, he's already shooting like 9 to 11 threes a game. And I know they're not all going to go down. There's higher risk shots, etc. But it's just a possibility. I just felt like he's got the right price there. So if it's going to be similar ownership to the other one, this guy, Neil, the Wolf of Ball Street, our man there, says Gary Bird. He's just laughing. This is hilarious. So we'll have to see how that one goes down. We'll have more. Obviously, we'll have everything up over on the site. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, just a couple notes real quick in between here. This is an NBA show, but we will have this for future. But right now, if you are a member, you do get the full NBA course, the entire 2-hour NBA course. If you're not a member and you want some NFL gear, right here, the NFL DFS Showdown mini course with all the showdown slates, all the short slates, all the playoff stuff that we're going to have upcoming. This is an awesome offer right now. It's just your email only. You don't have to give any credit card information, nothing. You can just sign up your email. We'll send you this 45-minute course so you can see what we're all about. The testimonials are there. And then, of course, if you want to join, it's very simple. You can get in for the week, but no Discord, right? We're very clear on that. It can't be any clearer than red with a giant strike through it and everything except Discord. It can't be more clear. For just $25 more right now, when you use the code TRY20, $49 to try it out for a month. It's like $1.50 a day. You can get in the mix and see what we're all about and start testing these projections out. They are different from the rest of the industry. There's a lot of stuff we showed you guys earlier with people winning with them almost daily right now. You're seeing somebody get up there, and we've been dominating in the satellite streets. Like the last Mega Milli, we had at least 6 or 7 of us in it and multiple people cashing in it. I know we've already collected multiple Mega. Hebrew got one the other night. New one's got one the other night. I got one the other night. There's others in the Discord as well. We're just going after it. So it's going to be a lot of fun the more we get to these quote unquote majors of these tournaments, like the $2,500 Mega. And tomorrow night, is it tomorrow night? Or maybe it's Wednesday. I think coming up next week is the 888 Mega with 250K up top. So get in those satellites. We'll be attacking that one as well. Talk to me here, Ham. This one's got a pretty big total, at least. Got to be some options in here. Mikal Bridges, always expensive, but he always kind of been, coming through as far as a floor ceiling option. But who do you like in this spot here? Brooklyn, Washington. What do you got?
Yeah, this is going to be a good game, or not a good game from a DFS perspective, right? I think the big three for me on Brooklyn are going to be Cam Thomas. It's going to be Mikal Bridges, who's very expensive, and then the last one is going to be Cam Johnson. So Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas, Mikal Bridges would be for me. Read my boy Hebrew Cheat. I know he's out there. So Nick Claxton, he's on Nick Claxton. I'm not as high on Nick Claxton as Hebrew, but I think he could be a great play at center. But it's going to be Bridges, Johnson, and Thomas for me. Thomas was setting the world on fire in a negative way the other night. As badly as he played, I think he got 5 DraftKings points. Looks like six DraftKings points, something terrible. I think he bounces back tonight, major way. He's gonna be firing. So give me him. Did he
leave the game for a little bit too?
I don't remember him.
The chat might remind me, but I thought Cam Thomas left for a little bit and then came back or something. I can't remember exactly. His minutes seemed light though. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game, but it was the game before he had all the minutes. So I can't remember if it was him or maybe Cam Johnson. But go ahead, continue on.
Yeah, I mean, he played terribly the other night, so I think he's going to have a big bounce back. And then on the other side, Kuzma having a phenomenal year. 8,500 is kind of pricey. My favorite Wizard though would be Dan Gafford, assuming he's in. I have him playing right now, 5,400 center position. Really like Dan Gafford tonight for the Wizards. I think this game, obviously it's going to be high scoring. It's got around a 239 point total. So give me those 3 guys that I alluded to. Would be Bridges, Johnson, and Thomas, and then Gafford and Kuzma on the other side for me.
Yeah, I should have noted that off the top. I think we looked at it pre-show, and it looked like Gafford was going to be good to go probably, or we assumed he was, right? We were looking at Gafford there, and it was – what was the note on him?
I think he was at shoot-around. I think you said that he was at shoot-around.
Yeah, shoot-around looked well for his status, they said, so we checked that out before pre-show just to see it. Let's see. There's some talk here too. Cam Thomas and PJ Washington, not Parker. We had that joke yesterday. Ended my night early. Yeah, Washington could have done a lot more. We saw that the other day. And then Kevin says it here. Our guy Butter, he said just couldn't hit a shot, so they benched him. Yeah, I forgot what had happened. It definitely went bad, and that would be a real flop leg spot. I've been making fun of that all week, like everyone in the football street. Zach Moss is flop leg. Didn't do anything last week. He's going to crush. It can't be flop leg when the whole world is jumping back on. Like we're all on the same bus or train or whatever you want to call it. So it can't really be that. A guy like Cam Thomas tonight would be that, though. And sometimes this is what I say, too, just sticking with this game, because I don't have much more to add than what you already said, but just looking at it from this perspective, like, yeah, the projections really love Mikal Bridges, and they should. Like, he's been fine. He's got great scores. He's got a ceiling, all that. Different position eligibility, point guard, shooting guard versus small forward, point forward. But sometimes I'll use that, even though he's not getting the ownership, to say, well, if we think this guy is going to be the guy that really does it, why not go back to a guy that's, if this spot is good, sometimes it's the right spot and you're on the wrong guy. Maybe going to Cam Thomas is the wrong guy, but sometimes I like doing that because then I can still fill out with the projections everywhere else. And I'm still using a spot that our projections like, but I'm using the projections to know that they like this guy and I want to save some money and use a different position with this guy. So that's just how I treat these things and have a look at them. Let's move on. Let's go to this next one here is New York, Boston. I think everybody's back now, right? Full squad. Porzingis is back.
Porzingis is back, yep.
Yeah, this one's tougher. The prices are all up. Is there anything you see in this one? I feel like this is going to be a bit more, and the total shows it, of a defensive battle, but it can be like a tight defensive battle, and you can get points that way. It's just harder to pick and choose your spots in this one.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me. I'm probably going to cross it off. Like I said earlier in the show, number 1, number 2 defense from what I look at over here at SHIPITNation.com. There's just so many mouths to feed in Boston. You could go any of them if you wanted to do one, but I wouldn't play more than one in this game. It's just going to be tough, in my opinion.
He wasn't good. I'll stick up for my guy Neil. I played him too. He was snowflaked for a while. Got some points in garbage time or whatever near the end, but it wasn't good enough for what we needed. I can tell you that much. Like it was definitely not what I required. I think I needed like 12 more from him or something to get a live final seat over on DraftKings, but Washington did not come through. The rest of the lineup was all Flames. So I'm going to use this as a chance to move on. If the chat wants to talk about something here, has ideas, but 13 games, I'm looking for better spots. And again, this is like, I always use football stuff, but like Buffalo and Kansas City. We know it's a good game environment. It looks like it could be. This one doesn't even look like it, though, because of the price. But I mean, my take is that I do think this game could play close, and you do get the back and forth. But then you have to have this happen first. Then you have to figure out who the dudes are in that on a 13-game slate with all these other values. I just move on, let it beat me, and try and find it in other places versus trying to dig in and get lucky and put a bunch of lineups towards that spot to hope to get it right. So it's full squads, both sides. I'm moving on. Let's move on, Ham. Let's go to this next one. Cleveland, Miami. So the news here, right? Bam out, and then Mobley downgraded throughout the day. So this is a better spot to talk about, I think, for sure. What's your take on this game?
Yeah, I mean, Orlando Robinson, who's done a really good job playing center for Bam Adebayo, up to $5,400, which I don't hate. But the one thing there, Jared Allen's a pretty good pretty good down there, right? So he's got a tougher matchup maybe than he's had in the past. But Orlando Robinson's playing 30-plus minutes. I think he had 15 and 12 the other night, so don't mind him at 5,400. If you're showing the projections, I'm not looking at the screen, but Jared Allen is projecting well. I don't mind Donovan Mitchell. Miami, he's expensive. First off, he's 9,000, but Miami struggles against kind of the combo guard. So give me some Donovan Mitchell, and then we talked a little bit about it earlier. Caleb Martin, 5,900 with all those guys either out or questionable. Not terrible coming off 49's DraftKings points, so it's not going to be, he's going to have some ownership there. But I don't mind that price at 5,900. Caleb Martin's a great play if he starts. And then we obviously need the Mobley decision on seeing what he's going to do. I actually like Donovan Mitchell even more if Mobley sits, and kind of what you talked about with the Hawks. I know they aren't the same position, but if someone goes to Jared Allen or somebody else, I think Donovan Mitchell may can benefit with Mobley being out just from getting a couple extra rebounds, taking a few more extra shots, and the Heat struggle against a combo guard. So that's kind of where I'm at in this game.
Yeah, the chat's talking about it. They want to go both sides of that, or if you figure out the Allen side over the O-Rob side. But I'm telling you, I think it's the other way. I think it's what Ham just said. He's reading my mind now. We're getting to chemistry. It's just what I said in the Atlanta game. And funny enough, it's only like $600 away from a 2v2. Like you need to find a little bit of money, but going from Allen to Capella and then Murray up to Mitchell would still project very well. Like Capella still projects up in this Jared Allen range. Mitchell projects pretty similar. I think where's Murray? It's not that far behind, right? Mitchell's here. Murray's here. It's not that far apart. And I'm just saying, what side do you think is going to be way higher owned? I know this one requires a little bit more money. I like to do it when it's a clean 2v2 where you can just go 1-to-1. But in all reality, it is exactly what people are thinking. If Mobley's out, the first thing people go to is Jarrett Allen, and for good reason. I mean, he's already popping, and we've got to keep Mobley in because he's only questionable right now. So we still have Mobley projected in. Sorry, I'm clicking too many buttons, but I'm saying that you got Allen up here already looking good. He should get a little bit more when that happens, but that just means the ownership comes with it. Right now, this ownership is not some crazy pivot when if Mobley gets ruled out, Allen's going to pop up even more. So I like your take there. I think it would be interesting to get involved on the Mitchell side of things and then doing it that way instead. So like a Mitchell Capella instead of a popular Murray Allen, you just need to find a few bucks to make it work. Anything else you want to talk about in this one? I'm actually still fine with O-Rob. Like, I mean, the guy can actually pop the points up. No problem. I've got no issue with it. We'll see what happens. It doesn't look like he's getting a ton of ownership, and I'm not sure that he will. Do you want to spend 2 seconds on Caleb Martin for everybody? I mean, Caleb Martin went up only $300. I think it was like a, pretty solid game for him the other night. I'm not sure where it stands on his career trajectory, but it was a big time game for him.
Yeah,
he went up just $300.
If he can get 50 points, at $5,000, $6,000, it's gonna be a great night. I mean, it just all depends. I mean, obviously Bam's out. We had a Q tag next to Duncan Robinson. I don't remember if he started the other night. Obviously, he played a bunch, but really like Martin at that price. If he's starting, he's gonna get those minutes. Go ahead. I got a cough real quick. Sorry.
No problem. The chat was talking about Max Strus revenge game here. Like, what's he at? 6,300.
Yeah,
Same.
That's too expensive. He came out on fire. I think he had like 4 threes in the first quarter last game, and then just kind of faded away. But I think Caleb Martin's a great play if he's starting.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, this is what I'm looking at, right? It's like, again, I still like Bogdan more. I know the ownership's going to be there too, but if you wanted to pivot, I guess I could say I don't hate it. Like, there is reason to look at it from that perspective because he's $100 less than Bogdan, projects just slightly under. If you could see it, if we do get, Mobley out, it at least opens something up there. And then our guy Hebrew says the Heat starter should be Lowry, Duncan, Robinson, that is, Jimmy, Martin, and Orlando Robinson. So double Robinsons in there, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, Hebrew probably knows more than I do about the starters right now because I guess Duncan's in. I haven't seen it, but looks like Hebrew thinks that Duncan Robinson is going to be in. Which, if Duncan Robinson is in, and it looks like Caleb Martin will still start and still get his. So,
yeah, and the chat makes a good point too. Is the other side of Caleb Martin? I don't know if Caleb Martin will actually get up that high. Maybe people chase that, but I feel like DFS has evolved a little bit there where people are not chasing that game from a guy like Caleb Martin, but someone said it here too. Where's it at? Was Strus just played Miami a couple weeks ago, got 25 minutes, 2 for 6 for 16. So maybe he's extra vengeful on this one. And CC, Nidge, you're off, man. Your takes are off today. I apologize, but I have to call you out. The takes are off. You said PJ Washington did good. He did not do good, and Strus did not do good when he played Miami a week ago, or a couple weeks ago now too. So just to let you know, man, we're keeping everyone on point here. Let's move on, Ham. Let's go to the next one. Minnesota, Memphis. Let me get Atlanta out of here real quick, and let me switch it back to all. Not a ton of crazy value. Again, same thing, like Desmond Bane, 9,200. I know he just had this insane game. He does not have to do a 70-plus performance to beat 9,200, but on a 13-game slate, I just think there's other spots that you can go. You were talking pre-show about a little Jalen Noel. What are you seeing here with this one? And what are the spots that we're looking at in this game? Because I think there was something we were looking at for news, right? Too. I forget what it is now. Yeah, no, it's the same stuff. Smart's been out, so I think that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, Smart's been out. We got a Mike Conley revenge game in the chat from Go Collect, but yeah, I see that orange on Noel, and he immediately goes into my core. I see that negative value for my guy Jalen Noel. He's playing 30-plus minutes. I mean, you want to roll out D Rose or do you want to roll out Jalen Noel, who's been with the team not that long, but obviously playing some minutes? And D Bain, can he do that again? Yeah, is it likely? Probably not. To me, though, this game's going to be a much slower paced game. Minnesota, pretty good defensively, just across the board. They're tough defensively. These teams, theoretically know each other pretty well, play each other a bunch, have over the season. So I'm going to be off Bane just because Minnesota does so well defensively. Obviously, have Rudy Gobert, man in the rim as well. Not that he's going to guard D Bane, uh, but I think this Minnesota team defensively is just a little bit better than the Pistons were the other night. I won't have much Jalen Noel just based off the price if I need that price, but also have Garrison Matthews I could go to, so may not need that extra money.
The revenge games are everywhere. But hey, here's the opposite of truth. Just about a week ago, or I guess almost 2 weeks ago as well, but you look at it here, Mike Conley did play, and he actually got the job done. He had a big-time game, 43.5 DraftKings points. He's coming off 236-plus point performances. His bad games have been 26, 27, 25.75, 27, 26. Like, he's been in the mix. Mike Conley not showing up as a value tonight, but 6,000. I've seen worse. Mentioned the Jalen Noel revenge game on the opposite side. And you were already in on this take, Ham. So maybe this is the guy tonight. So pick them up, man. Put these guys into your lineups here. Started off with a little double revenge. You still got 6.6K. We got all those other values in those other games. I don't have much else to add on this one. I think we're pretty much in line on that one. Got some more games to come up anyway that we could talk about more. Golden State OKC is next on the docket. What do you got here with this one?
Yeah, similar story to that last one. Just I don't have a ton that I like here. If Chris Paul sits, that may bump up Steph, right? 9,500. He'll get more minutes. Handle the ball more. With Chris Paul out, he likes to be the quote unquote point guard, bringing the ball up the court. So I wouldn't mind Steph if Chris sits. I think you said he was a late ad, so be sure to monitor that.
Yeah,
and then I don't mind Chet Holmgren, 7,700. That's a fair price for him. So wouldn't mind Chet. You can always play SGA. I think I'll spend up elsewhere. SGA is a great play, 10-6. I don't hate that. I think Jalen Williams is actually in our optimal right now, 6,200. Want to take a longer look at that as well. I won't have a whole lot of this game, but I think I would be interested in Curry if Paul does ultimately sit.
Somebody in the chat tell me Jalen Williams. Tell me something about this guy that you want me to know for tonight, why we would play him, because I don't see it myself. I know he's popping up, projecting okay, but yeah, you talked about on the other side, there could be some value pop up. Chris Paul, I think they said it was it was like an illness or something. What was it with Chris Paul? I saw it here earlier.
Yeah, it said illness. I don't know exactly what it was.
Late addition to the injury report, bad sign, blah, blah, blah. We'll go through that one. But yeah, Chet is the place. Our guy Neil said, I like the Chet call. Yeah, 7,700. Don't hate that spot here. I love SGA, but I don't love 10-6 SGA in this spot as much. Him and Curry could get rolling back and forth, but I feel like even then, value aside, I would still just take a shot on Curry for $1,100 less and just hope that he pops that 55 plus type game and maybe more. I got no problem with that. So again, wait on some of the injury news here. Not really injury as much as just whatever's going on with Chris Paul. I think it was just an illness, but see what happens with him. And then you could take some shots on these other guys. Projections will change, of course, with him still being projected as a Q tag. But on the other side, like I kind of was with Neil. Like I was what you said, the Chet would be the guy. But again, center only eligibility, and there's other centers on this slate. So that makes it tough for me too. So I don't know. I don't really have super high interest. I'll probably have more interest if Chris Paul's ruled out, and then we can see how that all shakes out later on. But we still got a lot of games to talk about here. We talked off the top. Wemby is also another guy popping off the page, and he's got power forward and center eligibility. So you can easily fit him in at the power forward slot or the forward slot later on, something along those lines, wherever you want to put him in at, depending on your build. What's your thoughts on this game, Ham? And then Wemby, like, where are we at with them? Do you even believe this ownership? Like, does 4% seem right because he is 8,800? It kind of makes it tough. But where are you at with Wemby and then the rest of this game?
Yeah, well, first off, I think that's a little low. I think he'll be more in the teens. 4% just seems way too low. I think Wemby's a great play. More than likely, he'll be in my core over at SHIPIT Nation. So I really like Wemby tonight. He's one of my favorite plays. He just great matchup. Great matchup tonight. Really like him. And then on the other side, Caruso, seeing starter minutes and decent price, 5,100 for Caruso with Levine being out. So don't mind Caruso and Wemby, and that would be it for me in this game.
The revenge, man, just everywhere. Yeah, I like Wemby quite a bit.
Who's revenge tonight or in this game?
No, I don't know. They're just everybody wants everything to be revenge. We probably could build a lineup by now after all of it, what we've gone through, just to see, but. I don't
DeMar DeRozan revenge game, right? Wasn't he a former Spurs?
Yeah. Yeah. You can use him, DeRozan. Revenge. Put him in. DDZ Revenge. They said, you got him in there too. So the chat mentioned Vassell. Do you have any take on him?
No, no Vassell. I don't know who Rose is. I don't know if that's D Rose. I don't know what we're talking about, but I agree with Michael. It's Wemby for me. Wemby's going to eat tonight against Vooch, and so give me some Wemby, and that'll be it. Maybe Caruso. That's all I got.
Yeah, this is another guy, man. Just floor city. DeMar DeRozan, like you want 40 points, that's what you get. So it never changes. Pretty much always the same. Caruso was Q-tag, but he's probable. So it's like he's a guy, if you're starving for value, I don't see much there either, really, to be honest. But I think, again, from a value perspective, shooting guard and small forward, I could see that. Kobe White's just been chucking, but man, the price keeps going up too. And yeah, you get a 55er in there, but like not often you get much more. He chucks, but man, his percentages are off. Like I don't know, like you want a shooter like a guy that chucks, but at the same time, you want somebody who can make the shots as well. It's usually not him. So probably like really just Wemby and maybe Caruso here for me, and then see what happens with the rest. But I think the rest is pretty floored out, and I'm going to be looking for more of the others. I'm going to be looking for more ceiling opportunity, at least is the best way to put it, I think, Ham. So
yeah, and our boy Hebrew Cheat is on Caruso as well. Caruso played at Texas A&M, which has to be close to San Antonio. So Caruso going home game too. We'll get all sorts
Somebody
of narratives.
Google Maps this right now.
I have no idea if they're close. Smarty could probably tell me. I have no idea. I know they're both in Texas. So yeah, there we go. Caruso's the play.
So Texas A&M, we're going to pull this up on the map here real quick. We got that one. Now let's get directions to, where did you say he's from?
I don't know where he's from. He went to College Station is in Texas A&M and San Antonio. He may be from San Antonio. I don't know.
Okay, 4 minutes away. College Station is 4 minutes away from Texas A&M. We're talking about
that is Texas A&M. I'm saying so San Antonio is where they're playing. Texas Station is.
Yeah. Sorry, you were saying to San Antonio. I don't want to. I want to go back bad just because it's kind of funny, but just to see it.
Yeah, see Smarty, our Texas native down there, close enough. He says Texas is like a country. I have no idea the geography there. Probably should. So yeah, let's go Caruso plus all the revenge game. There's no way we're not shipping tonight.
Oh God, we got to see what it is. By the way, while I'm doing this stupid thing, someone said about Cedi Osman inserted into the starters. See, what's your thoughts about him? Because he is a decent price tonight. I already heard people talking about him as well earlier. So talk to me about him.
Yeah, no Cedi for me. I've tried that experiment a time or two ago. Let's see. Actually, let's see what we're projecting him in minutes wise. I don't think I like it just off the top of my head, but yeah, I'm just going to say no Cedi for me.
I'm going to pull him up for the people in a second here. College Station. We got it figured out, guys. It's solved. 3-hour drive. 3-hour drive. You think people are getting off the couch to come watch this guy 3 hours away?
Yeah, for sure.
Kevin knows it. This guy narrative. Well, this is the best part. Go Collect is the man. We're in here telling you about these great projections that everyone's having success with and having fun in the Discord and doing all this. And we're out here trying to figure out how far away College Station is from the Spurs arena to see if the family's going to drive in for the night to watch this guy play, 25 minutes and have a floor game in the Century? Like, come on, we got to move this thing along. Ham, stop derailing the show, buddy. We got to get this thing moved along. Cedi Osman here. People want to see this guy. Bam, 28, 24 these last couple games. So he's getting into the mix now at 4,700. So here's Aaron, man. Aaron says might be the only true value. Cedi Osman might be the only true value on the entire 13-game slate. Right
now, he says. Aaron's always in here. He's always giving us nuggets. I kind of like that. I'm going to take a deeper look now.
This too, right? This is the other thing. Like usually, what was the other one he did for football the other day?
Dijon Mustard, baby. Dijon Mustard. Let's go.
Bijan Robinson, he said, is in the game. So we'll see. Let's move it along. Let's go to this Houston Denver. We got 4 games left. If you guys haven't yet done so, do us a favor. Smash the like for us. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't yet done so, go to the SHIPIT Nation YouTube station. If you're watching this on playback, you can just pause it. It takes 2 seconds, but we're almost to, I think we're only like 200 away from getting to 5,000 subscribers. The goal was by Christmas. We're hoping to get there by Sunday. Going to post some tweets out, things like that. But we want to get there because when we get to 5,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, we're giving away a $5.99 annual package to somebody that it's going to win that one. So I got distracted here. Come on, Smarty. You know,
there you go, Smarty. I like it, Smarty.
Come on. All right, let's go to this one here. Let's talk through this game. Let me get Osman out of there, and we can see the values. Jokic. This was insane, by the way, the other night. Like, people were talking about some of the crazy stuff that went down on that slate. 61 DraftKings points. You're like, that's not insane. That's Jokic. That's like bad for him. Yeah, well, here's the deal. He shot 9 for 32. That will probably never happen again. Like, literally for him. 9 for 32 is very hard to do for Jokic, and he is 12K. So, pick your spots here because you got Embiid early on. But, I mean, this is definitely an opportunity. I think we were looking at Murray earlier. What are we doing with
Murray's
Murray?
in, we think. He played the other night. He's probable again tonight.
Yeah, he's probably good.
Yeah, he's going to play.
We're getting there, King of Smack. You can see right on the screen. That game will be next for your Bates Diop information. And then we got the other stuff coming at the end, little as well, and that, but also the stuff for Portland. People want to know as well. So we'll get to that game last. Go ahead. Sorry, Ham.
Yeah, it's almost crazy that, I played Jokic the other night. It was almost like a floor game, and he still got to 61, which is nowhere. If he hits 5 more of those shots, right, he's up to 80 or whatever he's up to. But yeah, I think Jokic is a great play. I think he would be a great pivot off Embiid, who Embiid I would assume is going to be more popular tonight than Jokic. I think Jokic is a great play. Houston as a whole has been very good defensively this season. So Jokic would be my only nugget that I kind of get to. And then Sengun, on the other side, 9,100. I just personally wouldn't pay that kind of money for him. He's obviously had a very good season. So you could go there. I will be lower on this game than most. No Jabari Smith, no Fred VanVleet for me. I'll probably be off this game just because I don't think it's going to get as high scoring as some of these other games are going to get from a DFS perspective.
It could be, but I actually think, like I said, we just talked about through the Jokic stuff. I was just playing around with it. If you guys saw it on screen, you could change it. If you've got a different take, you can boost it. You can do a lot with it. And Ross K said, Jokic been the Rockets' daddy this season. let me go see 74, 81. You got to just take the, somewhere in the middle almost and just give him like a 77 or something, right? And then look at that value. You turn on all, you flip it. He dominates Embiid. And you say, I thought Embiid was going to shoot, put up a 69. Nice, right? Still way off. So you can play around with the stuff. I suggest leaving it, but just in general, if you have a take like that, that's how you kind of get your lineups where you can see what those look like. And then you can optimize out multi-entry and start looking at it from there. But yeah, 74 and 80 in the last 2 games that he played against Houston. He's going right back to it. And I don't remember who was in and out those games. Maybe Murray could have been out for some of those. I'm not exactly sure. I got Murray up on the screen. He had 11-29. He played against Houston on the 29th with Jokic, but he did not play on the 24th. So the 80 ball was with no Murray.
Yeah.
But still, even with Murray, he threw up a 74. So who knows?
And he shot it 32 times the other night with Murray. And like I said, 9 for 32. If he hits 5 or 6 of those, he's up to from 61 up to 75, 80. So he could get there.
Butto in the building. What's up, BJ? He's here. Number 2. I think it's number 1 at this spot, though, my friend. That's what you told me last time. Don't lie to me like that. Come on. Not much else for me in this one, though. Again, you can try and take stands and do stuff. Again, 13 games, though. It's not just moving it on. It's as much as Jokic for me or probably nothing. That's kind of how I see that one playing out. I'm just seeing if I see anything else behind the scenes here. What does let me just look at this real quick, too. We got a few minutes. I don't want to spend more than an hour. I want to try and get everybody in and out when we can, but I want to look on our ceiling rankings for a sec on the site and see what the sample's getting up to now on Jokic. So Jokic's up to 14 games, actually. And man, that's the problem. We're still early in the season for this, but Embiid is not there. Embiid is still not there, so I can't see it. But just to go back, Jokic is hitting 5X on his 14 games at 12K or more. He's played 14 games this season. He's at 71% of the time hitting 5X, almost 40% of the time he's hitting 6X. And we know this is what the projections say, but we're just saying, you can go look at it, Smarty. That's what we just went through. There's definitely opportunity there. And neither really look like they're going to get that high owned. We'll see how value breaks throughout the night, but I definitely think it's worth talking about where you could flip it. It's only a few bucks more and find that and then get different. And also, if you are on a big slate like this, deciding to backload it some. Like, I got to go way back. I got to click this like 6 times to get back and find Embiid. Embiid's in the first game on the slate. If anything goes awry and you don't need him, well, then it's going to be someone like Embiid, like Jokic later on that you would want to have. So I definitely don't hate that. Let's move on. Last 3 games here, Ham. We got about 10, 11 minutes left till the top of the 1 hour we want to do the show on. But Sacramento and Phoenix, what are you doing here in this one? Big news being obviously Durant is out. So what are we doing with this spot?
Yeah, I wish this game was last night at 8:30 Central instead of tonight. Obviously, they would have been playing in Las Vegas in that matchup, but they both 8-0, so they're playing tonight. Should be a good game. Wish KD was playing. I would assume he would have played if it was last night, but in any event, he's not, so we march on. But I'm excited to watch this game. No Grayson Allen, no Kevin Durant. I think my personal opinion is Devin Booker is the one that benefits from the most. He's already going to shoot it a bunch anyway. He is their point guard. He's going to have it. I would trust him over everybody else that you see there. Bates Diop, Jordan Goodwin, Eric Gordon, Josh Okogie. I mean, all those guys are great value. I get that. Or I shouldn't say all those guys, but Bates, Diop, Okogie, Goodwin have a good price tag. They're going to be higher owned, in my opinion. But to me, it's Booker based on the fact. I think this is a Booker. What are we projecting him for? 15% at 50. I think he gets 65 tonight. One of those epic 45-point nights for Booker. 8 rebounds, 12 assists, something like that. I think this is a big game for Booker, and he blows up tonight. With that being said, the opposite point guard, I don't think you can play both of them together just from a pricing, but I think De'Aaron Fox, wants to take it too. I don't even know if they played together, but the former Wildcat himself, Wildcat on Wildcat crime, for all those Kentucky fans out there, I think it's a back and forth between those two tonight. I really do.
Yeah, I'm opposite on you here for one thing for sure, but I want to bring up another point. Go Collects, but awesome in the chat today. Member at SHIPIT Nation, awesome dude. He says this. It's true. This is where the problem lies, right? There's so much value at center already. We got more coming where it's like that's what makes it tough. But remember, if everybody's thinking that way, there's definitely something to be said for flipping the build. If you can find some of these other value plays, I'll talk more on in a second. Sabonis is going to have a good game. I'm sure this is a good spot. He's a fair price. But I don't think it's not often a break the slate price, and it ties directly into what we just talked about with that other one. So it just becomes like sort of one of those things. Triple-double Sabonis, we always get those calls, and people usually get them right. But I just, again, will it show up? And then Smarty said I don't want to have to click on Garrison Matthews to get Jokic.
He doesn't like 20 points at 3,000? He doesn't like 6x value?
Smarty's my dude. Love this guy. But he says this, like it's a joke. I get it. Because the joke about Garrison Matthews, but in reality, your original take was Embiid over Jokic. It's $300. I mean, you can find it. I know that's the joke. I'm on you. I follow. I'm saying, but I do think that it's interesting that like everyone is good. If people are getting to the higher price center, it looks like they're just naturally clicking Embiid here and saying easy and move on versus a guy that took like 30 something shots the other night, shot 9 for 32 and still put up a 61, which is his projection right now. And he's already crushed Houston twice. So that would be interesting to me if he's going to be 5% or something. This one got me. Kevin Love, revenge. We got all the revenge games on the slate. So yeah, it's going up. Garrison, this guy's Gary Bird, as he called him. He's just going up, man. He gets.
I'm going to have to go get my Garrison Matthews Wizards jersey and put it on just for all the haters out there, man.
But yeah, this is where I was going to go with it. So I'm glad this got brought up. I don't like Booker at all tonight, and he can crush me. Obviously, he can. It's a great spot. Tons of injuries. It makes perfect sense. One worry I always have with him is he's very scoring dependent. Like it's oftentimes a lot like, is it a 45 real point or 50-point real Booker night? He's a scary fade, but he's 10K plus. Most of the times, I know it's a super small sample, and we have this with our ceiling rankings, but I'm not just using this because it's too early in the season to base it off of this. The sample's so small, but most of the times he's been at this price, we're with these injury spots, with Durant sitting or with Beal, who's been out, and all these other factors. To me, it's like, again, at 10-1, he just has to do so much. He reminds me like Tyreek on the slate for NFL last week. It's like, yeah, he's going to have a good game. He's going to get you like 50 DraftKings points. And if that does the job, as our projection has him at, then that's awesome. But there's also going to be spots where guys come through for $1,000 or $2,000 less that match that score. I think he needs to put up 60 to 65 plus to make a difference tonight. And then this ownership, again, I don't believe that fully either. yet, because I think that's just a spot that people are naturally going to get to go to Booker here. So I'm going to be looking more at these values. Nurkic, Bates Diop, Okogie. We'll see what happens with the lineups and what it looks like out there. You could play a guy like Little even, who is, if I want to be like Ham and play a negative value, maybe it is Nasir Little. We'll see, but I'm going to take some more chances. Again, remember this. I talk about this all the time in any sport that I do shows for. If I'm not going with Booker, I can assure you I'm going somewhere. They're getting the points in this game from somewhere, but I'm trying to take it for cheaper. And so I'll look for value plays in this game moving off Booker. I just think there's forget just the center stuff we talked about earlier. There's so many other guys on the slate that are in his price range that you can mess around with that I'm fine with it. And then, like I said, we'll see as things pop up. He obviously is
real quick. What about the Tambo special though? Devin Booker, he's going to get tons of attention. He's projected at 15%, which I think it's going to be higher than that. I would assume you do too. Why not go to the other side, the other point guard? The Suns are not good guarding the point guard. De'Aaron Fox, we're showing him at 2%, who has the same kind of, any interest in De'Aaron?
No, but I know where you're going with it. So I won't say no fully. I'll look at it, but I would actually have more interest in taking a risk like that. The problem is De'Aaron Fox, 9,600, man. Like, again, this is just like, at least there's some 60s in there. He can do it. I guess I wouldn't hate it. I will say this. I'm more likely to play Fox tonight than Booker. I don't think I'll play Devin Booker, or I'll have very little of him just as of now. I'll update people later if I'm changing it, but I'll be pretty upfront about that one. I'm going to try and find some of these other dudes to work into my lineup and then go from that perspective. I don't hate that call though, if you wanted to flip it and go the other way with it.
Yeah, it's a GPP kind of, yeah.
Or like our guy said, like if you go to Monk, what did he do? I think he disappointed. I didn't fully disappoint. His price is kind of in that mid-range, so it's like whatever to get these scores, but he has been putting up some scores. So yeah, there's other guys you can look at. I just don't personally love Booker. So let's move it along. Let's go to the Clippers and Utah. This one might be pretty quick, but maybe you got more to talk about it than I do. There is some stuff, but it looks like Olynyk and Clarkson are both probable. And then the rest of the stuff looks like it's a full squad. Again, you could always get news on a Friday night later on with a guy like Harden or someone like that. I never trust these Clippers, but we'll see. As of right now, it's clear that they're all in and it looks good, but just my thoughts out loud is that could be a spot. But what are you doing here in this game as of right now? What's your first take?
Yeah, James Harden is popping over here in the stuff that I'm looking at. For me, I don't like James Harden the player, but he's got the ball in his hands a lot more. Obviously, since Westbrook's gone to the bench, I don't know what 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I guess I don't mind James Harden, and Hebrew has got me played Keontae George. I feel like every night, so don't mind Keontae George on the flip side. But I'm going to be lower on this game than most. The Jazz are pretty bad if it's not evident by their 50-point loss the other night. But it would be James Harden for me. You could get the Zubac, but we just talked about the centers. So no Zubac for me, but I don't think it's the worst play. Give me James Harden, and that's it.
Okay. And even then, like, that to me is always a challenge because, like, you're just going with your gut, right? You're saying, like, he's a little bit cheaper. You can use him at point guard, shooting guard. I see it. I'm there. Like, Zubac. Like, again, there's just not a ton of value in this. Like, the other night, I think it was Thies broke the showdown slate or whatever it was the other night. We played somebody else. I think we played Kobe Brown, who I liked, and he came through at the beginning and then didn't do as much late. Good call, though. Hebrew had the call on Taylor Hendricks the other night. It looked like it was going to be a lot better than it was. I think they skipped one rotation on him, but they certainly did get him into the mix a little bit more. Mind you, now he's up to 4,200. So really tough for me to try and pick and choose in this spot. Nothing that I love, nothing that stands off the page. So I'm just going to move on from that one. There's not a lot that I love. Shout out to Mama Rocks joining us here. We appreciate you. Appreciate everybody for watching. Let us know what you guys got going on here for your Friday evening. Smash that like and make sure to subscribe to the Mail Media Network. Of course, like I said earlier, if you missed it, go over to the SHIPIT Nation YouTube station. Just go youtube.com/@SHIPITNation, or you can pause this video for 2 seconds, type it into your YouTube app. It'll pop up. Just make sure you're subscribed there. When we do get to 5,000 subscribers over there, we are going to be giving away the annual membership. So just to break it down for you guys, you go here, join the nation. If you want to get in on the monthly, $49 right now with the promo code. If you go set it up for try20, you can get it for $49. It's going to be one of your last chances to get in at that price for your first month. But we are going to be giving away one of the big boys, the annual $5.99 package, once we get to 5,000 subscribers over on our YouTube. Last game of the night, Ham, as we hit the 1 hour mark here, so it shouldn't be too much longer. If you guys have other questions, you can throw it in there. Live news.
You spoke his name. You spoke his name, and they downgraded him to questionable. You said he broke the slate, and then they downgraded him to questionable.
Yeah, he did. He broke the showdown slate the other night. It wasn't the main slate.
Well,
yeah. Maybe I don't know if that changes much, but like I'd have to think about it further.
Ross thinks we need to start the show over because that changes the whole slate. So this last game is interesting. I think this last game is probably going to be played maybe more than normally would. I mean, we got a 230-point total. We have a lot of value. Anthony Simons, first game of the season, I believe, the other night, and shot it 27 times. First game back, played 37 minutes. I think he's fine at that price tag, 6,800. I mean, obviously Luka is Luka. Triple double in the first half. He was kind of, it kind of hurt him to have that, honestly, because they won by 50 and he didn't play the whole fourth quarter. We got Reith at the center position. We talked about value at the center position, $4,000. Great price there. Malcolm Brogdon is questionable. You and I talked a little bit about it. I'm scrolling down because I know you're going to give me a hard time because he's not showing good value, but I like Kamara. I like Kamara at 4,500. Small forward, power forward eligibility. I think Kamara, however you want to say it. I think he's a good play tonight. And then there was
he couldn't have shot worse the other night, by the way. Obviously, similar injuries and stuff that were set up. He shot it
14 times.
3 for 14. Like, this is the thing too, Hebrew. I love you, man, but this like kills me right now. I said this in the Discord. I shouldn't even have said it. I said in the Discord, so every time I looked at his name, I saw death. He was literally the death of me. Like, that was a great score, 25. So I know I can't be greedy, but like one of these guys cost me the ship for the seat because it was like he needed like 32 or PJ Washington needed like 8 more. Like somebody needed 8 or 9 points more. I forget what it was, but that guy, man, he still did his thing. He was putting up shots. I think they skipped him on one rotation, almost like your boy Hendricks, but it was about right, 22 minutes. Like, I can't complain. Good game for him. Sorry, Ham, carry on. I don't mind the Kamara call though. Like, he's
I like Kamara.
Value,
I mean, assuming it's kind of the same rotation. I didn't even touch on Jabari Walker, who I had in my core the other night. So touch on a Walker, and then Exum. I meant to mention Exum tonight. I did not touch on him. Why is someone out? Why is he going to be chalk just based on his price?
4,500, but for me, Dante, X him out. That's what I'm going to say. X him right out of your player pool and move on and get the next one, because I don't see the full reason here. And there's so many other guys in the spot. I don't think he's going to break the slate for you that you're going to end up needing him. So again, if he does, good for him. I've been wrong plenty. Do what you want to do with your lineups. That's what I'm going to be doing with him. But I like the guys up more near the top. Obviously, Simons. This guy came out. We were waiting. There was a lot of people doing wait and see. I know he was still popular, but I'm saying a lot of the conversation was wait and see. I mean, he got tons of minutes, tons of shots, all that stuff up. I would honestly probably try. I know it's super expensive, but someone said it earlier, and I don't disagree. I would probably try and find Luka money before I play Booker. I know the spot's totally different, all those other things. I don't mind it. Like, I think he's still doing his thing. I expect him, like, he's another guy taking a ton of shots. We know what Luka does. He had a triple-double at the half the other night. I like Reith again. I like Walker, who was brought up here. I definitely think there's late spots here and these guys that you can go to in this game. So do you have anything else that you want to add with this one? I think the chat's talking about Brogdon and missing the game.
Yeah, and I saw this too. Then he would put up here. Yeah, Grant Williams and Josh Green were out, and that's why Dante is getting extra minutes. Yeah, if Brogdon's playing his full complement of minutes, and maybe lower, and the Trailblazers aren't any good. So I never like playing bad players, or I'm sorry, chalky players on bad teams. It just rarely works out, as we saw with the Hornets the other night. So I'll wait and kind of see what goes on in this game, and maybe lower than I initially thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything's accounted for here. The projection of 21, 22, whatever it is on Exum looks pretty fair, pretty correct. And again, if you're starving for value, I guess that's what it'll come down to. But I don't see it personally, so I'm not heavily interested in that one myself. Anything else you got, Ham? Any final thoughts for this slate, man? Anything else you want to bring up? More revenge conversations being brought up. Someone's going to build like the ultimate revenge lineup and then send it to us after. And all the power to you. I think that'll be awesome if you do that. But anything else from you, Ham, before we get out of here?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, glad we made it through it. Glad everyone made fun of me for air traffic control in my headset. So, no, a great show. Thanks for the chat. Thanks for the interaction. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you check out Hebrew's slate plan. It's always really good. And then we got our cores going up here in the next 30 minutes to an hour. So, looking forward to the slate. I think we got some good value and some good plays.
Yeah, it's right here too, guys. If you want to check it out again, if you don't, you can get it for a week. You can just check out the content, which is all here. We've got Hebrews doing the showdown slates 6 nights a week, everything except Sunday. Obviously tomorrow, probably a big one. I didn't even look at it yet to see what it's going to be, but it's the in-season final, right?
It's just
tomorrow.
One game tomorrow.
Just that one game. So we'll be all over that in the Discord talking through it. There's probably a pretty good slate. I can look it up while we're here just to see what do they got for tournaments tomorrow. Did you see them, Ham?
No, I didn't even look.
So for tomorrow, let's see, Showdown, Indy, LA. They got, what do they got here?
Man, I would love for Indy to win that tournament.
They didn't even post the flagship yet. They won't do it.
Wow. I'm rooting for Indy. I think they're a fun team to watch. Entertaining. I hope Indy wins it. And they're the lowest payroll in the NBA. Those guys need it. So that'd be pretty cool in my opinion.
It's rigged for LeBron, man. We got to get it. Everyone knows it's rigged. The conspiracy chat over in Discord, we'll be talking heavily on it. But I'm guessing, like Hebrew said, they're holding back, but I'm thinking it's going to be 100K up top tomorrow. Hebrew's been crushing it. People have been winning a bunch of money just using again, like people talk about this very little, but when I'm on here, you guys know I sell it. Like, look at the showdown. We already have projections and ownership for it, even captain ownership, everything you're just not getting at these other sites. Then you've got the core report with not only the cores, 3 cores that Hebrew puts up, the captain breakdown, and the slate plan for that single game. People are winning big money just off this. And that's one small piece of one sport on the site. I've won 200 grand just going to this slate plan and going to Hamwich's section for football. Like you can use this site however you want to use it, but not enough people are checking it all out. The education courses, someone just tagged me on Twitter and said they're taking notes on the NFL course, getting ready for the big weekend ahead. Like I love to see that. We got all these other sports, NHL, full-fledged right now. Our guy Nades running stuff in there and the members helping out too in that Discord. MMA, I know Title just said all the stuff is up. If you're playing MMA, I just won a $2,500 mega ticket last week off the stuff, just going in and plugging in off the core report, using the projections, looking at Marley's ownership that he does, and then reading Title's slate plan mixed with the other stuff that those guys do. Marley and Title got you covered. They crush MMA and put their money behind it too. PGA is coming back soon. It's going to be wild this season. We just saw Rahm go to live yesterday. I'm not sure how that's all going to play out for DFS for the landscape, but could be good in that realm as well. We know who a lot of these lower end golfers are and stuff like that we have to play through and be in our player pools. And we talked about all the NBA stuff. The ceiling rankings are live. They'll only get better as the season goes on. The correlation sheet is coming very soon as well. And then, of course, all the NFL stuff, a ton just for Showdown alone. We got all the stuff. All of our shows are free. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel at SHIPIT Nation. If you want to get in, it's here one last time, $24 for the week, no Discord. Or use the code TRY20, gets you in for $49 a month. It works out to about $1.50 a day. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Appreciate you so much for watching. Hit us up in the Discord if you're a member. If you're not, we'll be back for the next show. We appreciate you guys. For Ham, for myself, ToeTagginTambo. Let's ship it!